short-term projects.
Another thing that we considered when we crafted our platform was balancing some of our new ideas with ideas that will need to be continued from the current administration. We know that there are a lot of great programs in the works right now that may or may not be completed by the end of this administration, and we want to make sure that we have a balance of our platform of what we want to continue and what projects we want to see finished with the current administration, and in addition to the new programs. So I think things like the textbook rental program, things like that, the Maroon 5K, programs like that that are still kind of in the works or are still needing some progress, we wanted to balance our platform with those ideas as well.
Ensuring the success of the campus community garden is one. It broke ground not last weekend, I believe it was, and that's something that this administration has done such a fantastic job of starting up and getting going. We have to continue that initiative. If we start brand new, reinvent the wheel every single year, we will not make progress in Student Government Association or as students on Missouri State's campus. We feel like our platform is visionary and we are able to carry those ideas into the future as well as implement new ones.
Thank you. And now I'll pass the same question to Scott and Emily. Again, the question is, what short-term goals do you have for the university, and how does your platform work towards these goals?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, definitely one prominent key that Emily and I factored into our platform was being able to accomplish a lot over the year, and hopefully being able to transcend that for future generations to come from Missouri State University. And basically you can see in several different of the points that we've allotted are specifically the A-, taking that out of the plus-minus grading system. We feel like we've addressed and answered several students' concerns with this matter. We also look to save students money, which is implemented in several different key points that we bring up, and working with the outside community in Springfield. You know, increasing and expanding our outlook and for multiple years to come is something that we also look at very strongly. Now, if you look at several of the different points, you'll realize that nearly every single point will be able to be accomplished over our term, because that is exactly how long Emily and I will serve if elected for 1 year. But with those progressions, with every single one of those, it will benefit the student body for many, many years to come. And so that is something that we took a strong focus on.
One specific point on our platform that will have immediately affect the students will be requesting the professors to find if new edition textbooks are necessary. This way, students can go check out their book list and see if they could buy an older edition instead of a brand new one, and that could immediately save students over $100.
Absolutely. So we're looking at increasing the retention rate of students across the university, because we know that that is an extremely important key point, as well as increasing the integration of the international students on a board that I've served this entire year on, known as IPALS, International Public Affairs Leaders, and it's something that I have looked at for this entire year, and that's something that we're going to implement next year as well if elected. So I think that there are several different points that each and every single one of our platform addresses that will not only be able to be accomplished for a year, but also take a long-term effect on this campus.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now this fourth question, we'll start with Scott and Emily. And the question is, name one foreseeable challenge that comes with the position you are running for. How do you plan to overcome this challenge?
I think that the first challenge is fairly obvious. It's, you know, 1 or 2 individuals representing a student body of 23,000 people. And it's ensuring that every single individual feels as if their expressed concerns are being listened to. I mean, while there may only be 2 representatives of the student body within the president and vice presidential role, we've got to ensure and cross and transcend every single different cultural divide that we have amongst this campus, and ensure that we collectively work as a student body to ensure change. And that's the 3 words that Emily and I have expressed within our campaign is voice, action, and change.
One way that we are going to do this specifically, we've been able to go to over 50 student organizations so far. We have several more that we will be attending these next few weeks. And that's something that we would really like to continue while elected, and just make sure that if a student organization isn't able to send a senator, that we will go to them and make sure that we are able to listen to what they have to say.
Thank you very much. Now I'll pass the same question to Allie and Emily. Again, the question is, name one foreseeable challenge that comes with the position you're running for. How do you plan to overcome this challenge?
I I think one of the first challenges Allie and I would face if elected will be to pick an effective cabinet that will represent the student body and also be able to work with us to meet the needs of the student body. This would be a process that Allie and I would go through that would involve interviews or meeting with students individually, soliciting students who could serve on our cabinet from a variety of organizations. But I think picking a core group of student leaders who we will be able to work with for the entire year, who will be hard workers, diligent workers, ethical workers, to represent the student body and to work for the student body, I think that will be a first challenge. And I think that's something Allie and I can overcome with interviews, branching out to students, and doing things of that nature.
Another way we can overcome this challenge is the fact that we've already served in so many diverse positions on Missouri State's campus. We have a lot of contacts, quite honestly. I mean, we know people in lots of different organizations who would love to be more involved in Student Government Association. We know how to motivate those students. We know how to inspire them. And I think that this is a great way to be able to reach out to those people in the community who, wouldn't otherwise be able to serve on cabinet because they don't necessarily know what SGA does for them. This is a great way to get those people involved. There are going to be several other challenges along the way. We recognize that. We see how hard President Sweat and Vice President Mellish work currently. Sleep deprivation is going to be one of them. I think that we're going to be able to function as such. I think that Emily and I have such great communication skills with one another. We're open and honest people, and I think that we'll be able to transcend those issues that are going to kind of pull us down. I think that we're going to be able to work together, work with our cabinet, work as a team to serve the students.
Thank you. This fifth question, we'll start with Allie and Emily, and the question is, what existing policy do you feel is the most important to change, and why?
That's a great question. In terms of policy procedures at Missouri State, I know that there are some that I am particularly passionate about, but I think that I'm only one person in the entire student body. I think that there are several things I'd like to change about Missouri State in order to make us more effective and a better institution serving our students. I think that we need to become more prideful as a university. I think that we need to have a united front as students, and I think we need to transcend those barriers, whatever may exist in terms of competition that we have currently. I think that we need to realize that we're one student group. We all are Missouri State Bears. We shouldn't be competing against each other.
When I think about perhaps my Missouri State hot buttons, there's one thing that comes to my mind specifically, and it does relate to the plus and minus grading system. My biggest concern with this system is the C minus, because in some courses, if you receive a C, that counts as the prerequisite, but if you get a C minus, you do not get to move on as the prerequisite requirement. So for me personally, one of the hot buttons I have is dealing with the C minus and what we can do to work with that as the changes come about at the end of the summer when we reevaluate the plus and minus system. That's an issue that I think we definitely need to address.
In terms of the plus or minus system, this has been a hot button topic for the last 2 years since it's been implemented. We know that it's up for review this year. I don't know if all of you realize this, but there's no D minus on the system. There's also no A plus because an A is as far as you can get. That is the maximum. I think that's definitely something that we need to look into to serve the students. Is the plus or minus system even effective for students? What are we going to do to make it better?
Thank you very much. Now the same question to Scott and Emily. Again, the question is, what existing policy do you feel is the most important to change?